Hey everyone, back today with another Vibe Coding live stream. Okay, we're live on X, Twitch, and YouTube. So we made a lot of changes to, and there's been a lot that has happened since I last live streamed. So you had Claude Code leaked. I believe that leak was related to the bun runtime. Somehow a source map was included in some package, in the build package. I guess there was some sort of source map. Today you had Opus 4.7 got released. There's some other stuff that happened that's slipping my mind here. Make sure we're live on all platforms. So here's the new agents front end. So I know you can't see everything here, but if I move this down, you'll see here's Blue Cactus AI. So I kind of redesigned the entire front end here. So we have phone numbers. Now we have call history. So all calls are getting stored on AWS S3. We have a completely new node graph here. So redesign this node graph. And you can select these different nodes, add tools, add parameter collection. Define the node, add new nodes here. And if I come to call history and select a call, we have these call history details now. And actually, let me make sure in Docker, Discord. Let's post our YouTube link in Discord here. And also we have traces. So we're going to make these durable traces. Right now they're live trace. So we have a workflow showing what happened during that call. Let's try to go to a different call here. Okay, so here's the call with some more details. So you can see here's where the call started. It started at the intro node, and then that call moved. We have a tool that helps the agent transition from one node to another. Let me pull up the node graph too here. Let's go to agents, edit. Yeah, so here are the different nodes here. So we have the start node, and then we have an intro node, and then we have some edges here, right, that have different intents, right, or conditions. Let me make sure this is in the Discord here. Let's grab it. Okay. Cool. Okay. Yeah, so here's my node graph. We're going to be building out a tool that's going to help us run simulations against this node graph. Today, what we're going to be working on is integrating an OpenAI connector for Gmail calendar availability. And let me pull down Twitch and make sure I have Twitch open here. Okay, cool. So first, yeah, so also Cursor released Cursor 3, which is their new agents control plane. And also, you had Claude Code, or Anthropic also release like an agent control plane desktop client. So it seems like the whole industry is kind of moving in this direction towards agent control planes. There's still a file editor, but that file editor is really not, in the foreground, is how I would describe it. It's available to you, but only when you need it, right? And so they surface that file editor when you need it. And let's go ahead and open that up. I'll open up the agent window in a minute. Right here, you can click agent window. So this is your standard cursor view here. And if you're familiar with VS Code, you're familiar with this cursor view. And let's just bank this wood here and come back and start cutting more. Let's see. Yeah, so this is your standard cursor view here. And so if you've used VS Code, you'll be familiar with this. You know, you have your chat panel here. You've got the editor here if you need to open up a file. Let's see, let's open up a file just so everyone can see the editor. Let's see. Yeah, so here's the file editor that everyone's familiar with. So this is Cursor, right? But now Cursor has something called the Agents window. So I'm going to go ahead and open up that. So here's this new Agents window view. Let's see if we can hide this. So this is what that Agents view looks like. And today I'm going to be using Composer 2 and Opus 4.7. So Anthropic just released Opus 4.7. Yeah, so that was another thing that happened. So Opus actually, or Anthropic, you know, there's a lot of information going around on social media about how Anthropic had nerfed Opus 4.6. And there was a lot of confusion on why it got nerfed. People were upset that, hey, we paid for this product. And you just nerf it. It's not what I paid for, right? And so I'm not exactly sure what happened, but it looks like they were maybe freeing up some resources in preparation for the Opus 4.7 release. But it does look like Opus 4.7 did get released today. Okay, Cursor's doing an update here and restarting. So let's see, let's open up a chat here on bluecactus.ai. So you can see different directories that I have available here. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to say, I want you to use the GitHub MCP to go pull down issues in my Blue Cactus AI organization. Hey, book buyer, the bookkeeper. Hey, how are you? I see you on Twitch here. No, I didn't see your chat yet, but I see it now. How are you doing? See if Composer 2 can do this. Okay, here we go. So what I'm about to do is use my GitHub MCP server to pull down my GitHub issues. Some people, hey, I'm doing good. How are you doing? So I'm gonna go ahead and pull down these issues here. Make sure it doesn't pull down any repos that I don't want it to pull down. Let's see. Okay, so here we go. So these are our different services, and let me, I want to show you the Agents platform a little bit more. So now I can log out. Oh. Interesting. Okay, looks like the service crashed here. Let's see. Okay, it looks like the front end is down. Can you review the logs? Okay. Huh. Interesting. Okay. So first off, we have the new web page, which we're going to continue to update. But how I did this was I used Gemini 3.1 Pro. And I also used the Codex front-end skill and the Opus front-end skill. So I used Gemini 3.1 Pro together with these front-end skills. And then I used Nano Banana to help me generate these images, right, for the front end. So this is the new web page, but we also have Google authentication now, right? So when I come to the login screen, I can continue with my Google account. And so this authentication is actually setting up an organization. And we have a full auth flow. So if you don't have an organization yet, when you sign up with your Gmail account, it will create an organization for you, and then also make that Gmail identity the admin of that organization. Yeah, no, I'm talking to Whisper Flow. So when I'm chatting here, I'm using a product called Whisper Flow, which is a speech-to-text product. So like here, if I open up Cursor, you'll see me. I am testing Whisper Flow right now. I am talking with Book Buyer, the bookkeeper. Yeah. So this is if you're not using speech to text, that's really really accelerated my workflow. So now I'm going to say, let's just go back into the Cursor Agents view here. Let's go into the Cursor Agents. Okay, here we go. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to say, okay, so the service did just crash. What I want you to do is open up and follow the logs. Yeah, so it thinks, so here's Composer Too Fast. It thinks for some reason it wants to check Kubernetes. No, this service is not deployed on Kubernetes right now. Hey, Midnight Simon. Hey, everybody from Midnight Simon's chat. Hey, everybody. Just want to show you the new platform. So I built a new website here. If you go to bluecactus.ai, you'll see it. I use the Codex front-end skill and also the Anthropic or the Claude Code front-end skill and Gemini 3.1 Pro to help me build this. I use Nano Banana to create these images. So I can go to my login now. I have full Gmail authentication. Oh, let's see. That's a bummer. Let's see. I think it didn't. Hold on. Bear with me, guys. Let's use Opus 4.7 right now. Okay, and I'm going to say, let's go to Opus 4.7. I want to show you guys the new front end. Okay, I want you to start my front end and back end. Kill it and then start it. Hey, Simon. It ain't a raid, man. Oh. Oh, okay. Well, hey, Simon, I'm glad you're here. I want to show you this though, if you're going to stick around for a minute. I thought it was a raid. Usually when I see you in here, it's a raid, but let me show you this voice agent. It's pretty cool actually. Let's see if we can get it started. I know, I need a posture check. Yeah, I know. Okay, here we go. Let's see if we can get this started. All right. So now let's let's refresh. Let's go to localhost 3000 /login. Okay. So now we got the Google login. Let's click this. Okay, here we go. So check this out, Midnight Simon. So this is the new front end. So I'm using Shad. I always forget, it's like Shad CN, I think, for UI components. It's some framework to help agents develop UI. So I'm using that to help me build out this front end. But now you can see that I have a call history. So all calls get stored on AWS EKS now. So here's a list of all calls, or not AWS EKS, they get stored on AWS S3. So I can click into a call and review the call. I can review an agent workflow. So I have pretty much a workflow of when it transitioned to each node. But let's go ahead and make a call here. If I click edit, I can show you the node graph. So here's the node graph for the agent. So here you can see this is the start node. You can select these nodes. You can select a node and add tools to the node or add parameters to capture parameters. But let's go ahead and make a call so you can see it here. So let me make a phone call. Okay, so let's see. So good. Let's do it over here. Okay, so let's go. And my camera's a little high, Midnight Simon. Mine. And so I gotta I have like a 4 monitors here, which is kind of crazy, but I have monitors stacked, vertically stacked, and I have my camera on the top monitor, so it gets a little funky. But let's go ahead and make this call.
I'm Bella from Blue Cactus AI. How can I assist you today?
Hey, Bella, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. What can I help you with today?
Hey, Simon, so check this out. So now I'm going to go back to agents. One second. Let me go to agents. Let's go to edit. And I'm going to show you. So now we're on the intro node, right? So, and the edges don't show up when I first zoom. But if I click intro, you're going to see, so we have these different, and I have it on mute right now, but we have these different intents, right? Busy now, demo request, not interested. But here I have a tool called Query Business Docs and lists knowledge-based topics. But on this node, I only have a save memory tool. But here I can actually, on this node, I have a tool called Query Business Docs and lists knowledge-based topics. And I also have a knowledge base now. So now I have RAG. So I'm vectorizing these PDFs and storing them in Postgres. So watch this. If I ask the agent, hey, I'm having trouble with my GPS tracker and it's doing some weird LED pattern. Can you help me with that?
It sounds like the LED patterns on your GPS tracker could be indicating different statuses. Let's narrow it down. Can you describe the pattern you're seeing with the LEDs?
Yeah, I'm seeing like a green LED just flashing at me.
Got it. Green LED usually indicates network or communication status. If it's flashing, it could mean it's trying to connect or is having trouble staying connected. Have you checked the network coverage in your area or tried restarting the device?
Yeah, I did all that, but I don't know, I might need a new tracker. Do you have any pricing information on new GPS trackers?
Sure. Here's the pricing information. A basic GPS tracker is $49 with a $10 per month service fee. The advanced GPS tracker, which includes additional features like alerts and history, is $89 with a $15 per month service fee. Would you like more details on either option?
No, what's the capital of France?
I can only help with topics related to our company. Is there anything else I can assist you with regarding our products or services?
Um, yeah,
If you
what's
need any
the
further assistance with
what's
our
going on in Texas right now? What's the capital of Texas?
I can only provide information related to our company's products and services. If you have any questions about that, I'd be happy to help.
Okay, Simon, so I'm not sure if you're still here, but I'm also doing traces, right? So now I'm using spans to try to trace the call and the different services. So here you can see and I'm using OTel. It's some open source protocol to help me with this tracing, right? And another tool called Jaeger. So I have OrbStack here, and this is built by Uber. To help with real-time observability across many different microservices, right? And then I have this OTel collector here, which is helping me with OTel observability. So and I'm still on mute, but what's interesting about this is that I can, if I have a real customer and maybe they have some massive PDF or they have some other tool call that's taking a long amount of time, right? I can try to find the bottleneck of that, of what the bottleneck is, right? Is it RAG? Is it this voice service? Is it this save memory tool call, or what's happening? So now I'm going to advance it to busy now, and it's going to bring me to this callback offer node. And this callback offer node has a save memory tool. But one thing I want to show you is right here on this node, I don't have the save memory tool yet on this node. So I'm going to try to get it to save a memory now, and it's not going to do it. Watch. So I'm going to say, because it's still on this node, and there's a tool that helps us transition from one node to the other. So it's literally a tool called like a transition tool, right? And that I push that tool into the voice agent when it boots up, and then that tool is helping me determine which node to move to. So now I'm going to say, you know, I really like to do meetings next week at 3 p.m. Is that cool?
I can't schedule meetings directly, but I can have someone from our team contact you to set up a meeting. Would you like me to arrange that?
You know what? I'm kind of busy now.
I understand. How about we arrange a callback next week at 3 p.m.? Does that time work for you?
Okay, Simon. So, and anyone else that's here. So this is pretty cool. So right now, what happened is, you see this? It said transitioned workflow from intro to callback offer. So the agent was able to help me identify, hey, you know, it looks like this person's making a request, and it transitioned me from that intro node to the callback offer node. And so then we have here selected transition busy now and move from intro to callback offer. So now I'm gonna use the save memory tool and say, you know what? I want a sales rep to call me back next week on Tuesday at 3 p.m. I want a sales rep to call me back next week on Tuesday at 3 p.m.
Got it. I'll arrange for a sales representative to call you back next Tuesday at 3 p.m. Is there anything else I can help you with before we end the call?
No, that's okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a great day, and we'll be in touch next Tuesday at 3 p.m. Goodbye.
Okay, so what's pretty cool is it actually saved that memory. So now what I can do is I can come into cursor. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, it looked like it just saved a memory to my Postgres table. Can you help me check Postgres to look at those extracted saved memories? I installed Postgres with Homebrew. Yeah, so now I also have, in settings, I have API keys, right? So now I can generate API keys. I'm going to set up a webhook. So like in my scenario, Midnight Simon, so I have a telematics video business. And in the telematics video business, I have cameras and customers' vehicles. And what happens is there's like 2 health events that are critically important on these cameras. One of them, so it'll be like a camera, a dash camera in someone's vehicle, and it'll have 4 channels. They'll mount it underneath the mirrors. They'll mount it to the underneath the mirror on the fender to get the side camera view. Sometimes they'll mount it on the headache rack, facing back to the trailer. They'll put one facing forward to the road. They'll put one facing the driver. And what will happen sometimes is the camera connections come loose because there's so much vibration in some of these vehicles that sometimes camera connections come loose, or it records all this footage to an SD card, and the SD card has a lifetime, right? And it only has so many writes on the SD card. And what will happen is sometimes there'll be a no video signal event. And when there's a no video signal event, it means there could be a disconnected camera. And that could be a driver disconnecting the camera, right? Or it could just be a connection that came loose. And so what happens is sometimes my customers will get into an accident. And if they're not monitoring the health of those cameras, they'll get into an accident. The camera connections will be loose, or there'll be a media format or some media error on the SD card, and they won't have footage of the accident. And that's like the worst thing that can happen to my customers. And so what I'm going to do is when those events get generated, so like the camera or my other platform, I get those events, no video signal and media error. And let me actually show you. Yeah, so this is the platform, and I don't have the coaching stuff open right now. But this is my platform. This is the mapping. This is actually 3JS. This is 3JS on top of Google Maps, which is pretty cool. And I can come in here and look at like a trip history. Look at different trips. I have like DSM distraction events. So it does like forward facing, detects all types of driver state, stop signs. And then I have a whole coaching. I don't know if you've seen this yet. Right now I have the node is down. I may just start it so I can show you. Hold on. Let's start it. Just use Opus 4.7. I'm going to say, can you scale up my coaching node group? And this is Simon too. I don't know if you've seen it, but this is my system. So this is my Kubernetes system, and I have a staging server with this system, and it's also in production. Right, so I have an account service, an alert service. So there's a lot of real-time stuff that happens, like real-time data comes in, and I gotta check geofences. So I know I talked to you about geozones. This is kind of what a geozone looks like, right? So I'd enter in a geozone, and then anytime vehicles enter or exit these geozones, I have to send alerts to customers. And when there's so much real-time data coming in, actually it was kind of before AI, we had to make sure that we're able to send these real-time alerts to customers for hundreds of devices in the field without any race conditions. And we use Postgres, PostGIS. It's like a geospatial extension in Postgres to help me as the latitude and longitude data comes in. We look, okay, is that latitude and longitude data, is it inside or outside of that geofence? And that helps my customers understand arrives and departs, right? And let's see if we can get these coaching nodes started. But anyway, so another thing that I'm doing right now is I have events, right? So if I come to reports, let's come to critical event report. Let's see. See if we can get some critical events. Okay. And I also have driver ID. So right now the camera, when a driver gets into the vehicle, he gets into the car and the camera takes a picture of his face. And that's where I have this identify drivers. So the camera takes a picture of the driver, and then it stores it in a storage system. Then the next time the driver gets into the vehicle, it takes another picture of his face. It tries to match that picture of his face to an existing picture. If there's a match, it sends an ID to me, a unique ID. If it finds a match, it sends that same unique ID to me. If it finds a new match, it sends a new unique ID to me. And so what my customers do is they come in and they enter in all of their drivers. So they'll enter in a driver directory. Hey, these are my different drivers, because there's a lot of churn with drivers. They hire them, they get fired, they come and go. And I don't know who my end customer's drivers are, but my end customer comes into my system, he adds in the drivers. My camera starts taking pictures of those drivers' faces and loads them up, queues them up into this identify drivers page. And this is where we start linking drivers. Anyway, so then when you run a critical event report, you can see that which driver is associated with which event. And I'm going to kind of explain how this is all going to wrap in. But anyway, so like here's a lane departure warning right. ADAS, lane departure warning right. And I can watch this event. This is me in my car. Not the AI call. I'm having flashbacks. Yeah. So, my brain is exploding. Sorry, book buyer, the bookkeeper. I'm gonna try to keep it. So what happened here is I took a left across this solid white line, and that's doing an ADAS lane departure warning, kind of showing me. If I was at a service company, you probably wouldn't want me crossing across that solid white line. Here in America, you can't really cross a solid white line. Anyway, so the idea is what I'm going to do is there's these NVS events that are critical for camera health, the no video signal, and the media error events whenever pretty much these SD cards have to get reformatted. So what I'm going to do with my agent's business is I'm going to set up an endpoint where I can accept webhooks, right? So that telematics system is going to pretty much when those events happen, I'm going to send those events as a webhook to this endpoint in this agent's business. And what the agent is going to do is I'm going to have the agent immediately make a phone call and an SMS to my customer, letting them know, hey, you have a no video signal event. It's critical that you check those no video signal connections before there's an accident. And also reach out to them with a voice and an SMS agent, letting them know, or if there's a media error event, right? And say, hey, there was a media error event. You need to format your SD card or you may get into an accident and you won't have any footage available. Yeah, book buyer, the bookkeeper. That's a good question. Right now I don't have the specific traffic laws. I kind of have some general idea of what my customers, what they consider like a driving infraction or a driving event that's worthy of reviewing. But that's definitely a good question. I need to think about that. But let's see if we can get the coaching. Let's see. Okay, it's finding my node groups here. We're about to scale up the coaching node. Okay, so here's my coaching nodes. Let's see. Let's describe this coaching node. I don't know why it needs to describe it, but let's run this. And okay, so I want you desired one, spin up one node. Okay, so it's about to, it's nothing sensitive here. It's about to, I want you to use, doesn't really matter, I guess. Let's just do this. Okay, so I'm scaling up kubectl get pods namespace coaching kubectl get CTL get pods namespace coaching. God, I can't type. Okay, so let's see. So these are both pending. Yeah, let me know the status of it. Let me know when the pod comes up. Let's see. Should check the status for me. It's kind of a complicated command there. Huh. Okay, here's container creating. All right, so I just brought up the node group. Let me see if I can. Yeah, so here's node group command. So let's see. Let's get all my node groups. And actually, I just had to upgrade Kubernetes and move to a new node group. Posture check. I know. Shit. So you said they send a text message. What if driver checks it while driving? Yeah, so it doesn't send. So that doesn't send to a driver. So the NVS or the media error, that would be a fleet manager looking at that. But I also have an idea for the coaching, and that's why I'm trying to pull up the coaching node so I can show you. Let's see. Okay, so it's running now. Now let's come back here. Let's go to get partied, or let's go to my system. It's just a staging server, but let's go to coaching. Okay, so here are my coaching. Right, so now let's look at, let's watch one of these coaching videos. Right, so here, this is what I'm doing. So as events come in, so we're doing AI at the edge, right? So I have, and let me make sure I'm chopping here. So I've got AI at the edge. I've got, doing driver state monitoring. So things like fatigue, distraction, phone use. I'm doing stuff like erratic lane departure, ADAS lane departure warnings, following too closely. So following too closely to another vehicle, stop sign, right? And then these events are coming into my system. And then what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start on every single event. I'm going to start running this object detection and depth estimation on every single event. This is me going through a drive-through here. Let's see if we can get a better one. Let's see. Okay, here's one. So what I'm doing is on every single, what I'm going to start doing is every single event that I ingest into my system, as long as we have permission from the customer, we're going to start doing an AI review on every event. And so what I do is I look for different signals in the event, and then I'm start to normalize them. So then we can build a risk score. So here you can see it detected my cell phone, right? And then let me show you what the report looks like. So if I come here and I also have a reconstruction. So this is pretty cool. So this is a 3D reconstruction. And I have an idea with this where what I can do is I can start detecting all of the objects in the scene and then recreate those objects in this 3D simulation, right? And then maybe a driver or a coach sits down, reviews this simulation of the event, reviews the video, and maybe you're talking with a voice agent coach sitting there, and the driver can communicate with the voice agent, and also the fleet manager can communicate with the voice agent and kind of get a review. And this is 3JS. And I actually worked with someone, a really smart, one of the smartest people I ever worked with, that helped me build this before AI models were even a thing. Which, to build this simulation, it was difficult. But anyway, so then we also have this report, right? So here's the report, which is pretty cool. So here we're putting a safety focus, right? And I improved it actually on the production system a little bit. I got to migrate those changes back over here. But this session focuses on eliminating phone use while driving. Phone use was detected at 57 miles per hour. Interesting, I was driving kind of fast there. At 57 miles per hour with a nearby person object within 4 to 6 feet. So some of this I actually fixed on my other system, and I need to migrate the changes over. And then we give a snapshot of the event. A look at the forward camera. The image shows a clear road with a single car ahead, some houses on the right, and a street light. And then here's my driver. A person is sitting in the driver's seat of a car holding a cell phone up to their ear. Yeah. So pretty much then I make these observations, right? And so the idea with this is I'm going to start scoring every single event. And then I'm going to use the agent. I'm going to build an agent workflow. And after I score these events, we're going to build an agent workflow to help us pretty much implement like driver coaching, right? So, and maybe it could be SMS and the driver doesn't need to look at that text, or it could be a phone call. So say the driver's driving, and this is all where it's getting very proactive. In the history of my industry, it's always been a reactive industry, right? So it's always, there's an event that happens, an accident happens, and you go into react mode, right? And an event happens, you call the driver, or an accident happens, God forbid, a fatality event, right? That resulted in a fatality. But an event happens, and then you kind of go into react mode, discipline the driver, do whatever you want to do. This is a system where we're going to start ingesting every event, run this risk scoring on that event, and then we're going to use an agent maybe right after the event happens to make a phone call to the driver. And then the driver in a hands-free mode can answer that phone call and start communicating with the voice agent. And the voice agent could say like, hey, I know that you just got into this event. You know, can you please give me some details on what happened, and just kind of get some record from that driver, right? So yeah, so that's the whole idea, book buyer, the bookkeeper. So and thanks for being here, guys. And Midnight Simon, I'm glad I got to kind of show you what I'm working on, because I know I'm always in the Midnight Simon chat, you know, talking, but it's cool that you now know kind of what I'm working on. So anyways, yeah, so exactly. Yeah, I guess it technically could be distracted book buyer, and I need to think through this more on when maybe we would make that phone call to the driver. What's cool is in our system, we know when that vehicle stops, right? So maybe when that driver stops for the day, or he's it could be an over-the-road driver, it could be a guy that's coming back to the depot, but we could maybe put in that call when the driver stops, and that's definitely something that I need to consider. So one thing I'm gonna, and let's go back to our Blue Cactus AI, and let's see if we can find that extracted memory here. Let's make sure we're chopping. Interesting. It always has trouble finding where I installed Postgres, but it found it. Okay, cool. So these are all my Postgres tables right now. So let's run this. Okay, so here we're grabbing content from extracted memories. So let's just check out these extracted memories. Okay, so here it is. So this is today. So this was that. So we give it a tag, right? Callback time. So I kind of I completely refactored the memory and how we handle memory. And so I would have it maybe make a list of times in the interaction and make almost a mini report for end of day. Yeah, good idea. Because there could be more. It would get annoying if you're a driver and you had 2-3 events and you're getting 3-4 phone calls while you're driving, right? I'm doing some pretty cool ways that I'm handling memory now. So I'm just going to ask Opus 4.7. I'm just going to say, just so I can tell the chat, I want you to review how we handle memory. And also I want you to review our authentication. Now that we set up our Google OAuth, how does it work? When a customer sets up an account, we also create an organization, right? And there's a join code that customer can use. At a very high level, I want you to review the code and then tell me how we're handling that authentication flow and how we're handling API keys and when we're using JWT versus session cookies. And then I want you to tell me how we handle memory and just give it to me a very high level, very concise. Get to another tree here. And what we're going to do today, guys, is OpenAI has these connectors. So let's see. Real time. Let's see. Tools, MCP and connectors, right? So using connectors. So an OAuth access token. So let's see if I can pull this up here. Okay, so here's connectors, right? So these are all of the available connectors that I can use with the OpenAI Realtime API. And so what we're going to do today is, because we already have Google OAuth Flow, or our Google OAuth working today, we can take that OAuth token and then we can use these connectors, right? So using Google Drive, we're going to use Google Calendar today. And we're pretty much going to add this as a connector. So in your node graph, if you want one of the nodes to be able to have access to Google Calendar availability, we're going to set that up. Alert if it's a big mistake. But maybe also have it make, here's what Book Buyer said, but maybe also have it make a non-annoying sound, but like an alert if it's a big mistake. Not what the mistake is, but almost like an alarm that says bad driver no. Yeah, exactly. So some of that could be considered, I guess, distraction too, but I've seen solutions where it's like an LED light that kind of blinks at you, or it's a piece of hardware that sits in the dash. And actually there's an opportunity here if I move fast enough. No one in the industry right now is doing any of this coaching with agents, right? People are trying to do it. There's people, there's some companies actually that the largest fleets in the world are still actually doing human reviews. So there'll be hundreds of people in offshore that are helping these large companies review events, right? But no one has really closed the full loop on coaching. And that's what I'm gonna try to do pretty much. If I move fast enough, there's an opportunity, and there might even be an opportunity to develop some sort of hardware and have that hardware in the cab of the vehicle. And that hardware is some coaching device, right? That does some sort of signal at the driver when there is an event. And also maybe could talk to the driver, right? The thing is with drivers is that, and sorry, I know this is like a lot of domain specific stuff, guys. But just want to understand how I think about it, right? Anyways, yeah, it's like I could maybe make a piece of hardware in the cab of the vehicle. But the thing with drivers is some companies will distribute phones to all of their drivers. Some companies won't, right? Maybe some drivers use personal phones. Sometimes it's a mixed bag. Some of them use their personal devices. Sometimes it's a phone issued by the company. It's a split between W-2 employees and 1099 contractors, right? And with W-2 employees, you can't have them use their personal device. So some of these fleets are like mixed fleets. Some guys that own their vehicle, and some guys that don't. Yeah, so I also have an app, Book Buyer, and that is a good idea, is potentially an app that the driver would use. Correct. Right now, I'm thinking, even to get these guys to use apps, these drivers, sometimes it's challenging, right? And so, that's why the voice agent was kind of becoming interesting, because it doesn't matter if a driver has their personal phone or if it's a company issued phone. Because like if they have their personal phone, sometimes they'll push back or say, hey, I don't want to install this app on my personal phone, right? But everybody will take a phone call. Everybody will send a text, right? And so that's kind of where I started thinking about that. Yeah, exactly. So you need to do some sort of gamification, some sort of incentives, right, to try to encourage this. Also, in this industry, it kind of becomes a thing where it depends. Some companies, the drivers control the whole company, right? If the drivers push back on something, because there's a shortage of drivers, right? And that's where this industry, especially with autonomous driving, which autonomous vehicles are only going to handle highway driving, right? They're just going to drive down the highways. They're not going to do last mile. But because there's such a shortage of drivers, sometimes the drivers literally run the company. And if they say, we don't want to install this damn app, they ain't installing the damn app, right? Yeah, pretty much, but then it becomes, some companies just say, hey, they're forcing the drivers. I don't give a shit. If you're a driver, you work for me, and I tell you, you got to install this app, doesn't matter. You got to install this app, right? And so, anyways, that's kind of the thinking behind the driver stuff. Or tied into the timesheet, so when they sign into work, they sign into the app. Exactly. So that's a lot. That's a huge feature. Actually, a lot of these guys just want very simple clock in, clock out, right? So there's an opportunity for some basic clock in, clock out. Hey, you gotta use, and that's a smart idea, book buyer, the bookkeeper. That's a really, really great idea, and you kind of, I don't know if you're in this same industry or familiar with this industry, but that is a way to get the drivers to use the app, right? Say, hey, another way I've been thinking is driver ID. So, yeah. So yeah, right, exactly. Or sometimes you get a room full of people that all deeply understand the domain, and they'll just kind of, they have great ideas, but it is fascinating. Sometimes you bring in someone that is not familiar with that domain, and it's good to get those fresh eyes, right? And that sometimes helps you get, because you kind of get that like you're kind of in a vacuum, right? When you're too deep into something where other people have new perspective. But exactly, I'm an ideas person. Yeah, for sure. Definitely. So yeah, so another idea was driver ID, right? So one idea I had is, the thing with this is, to get this to work, this driver ID, you have to have a forward-facing camera. But also I'll have drivers that will use a only forward-facing camera. They don't want the driver-facing camera. And in that scenario, we can't do driver ID with this facial recognition. And that's where we might put a barcode on the window, and a driver comes in with their app, and they have to scan the barcode, right? And that's one way that I've thought about kind of requiring the drivers to use the app, right? Or making them use the app. So anyways, that's kind of my thinking behind all that. So then let's come back here. Let's start thinking through. Okay, so I just want to review this with you guys. I don't know who's still here. I don't know if Simon's still here, but I know Simon uses Supabase. And guys, if you're interested in someone that's doing vibe coding and also doing a lot of fundamentals, working with algorithms, leak code stuff, and I think it's actually critical to have some understanding of how to write code and how to complete some of these algorithms, especially if you're looking to get a job in the industry. I know a lot of people, a lot of companies, especially big tech companies, are still requiring you to solve some sort of algorithm in the interview. So I know vibe coding is great, and it's a great way to prototype and build things fast. But I think the future, as we move into the future, some of these companies might have like a segment where you're able to use AI, and maybe a segment where you have to do some simple algorithm, and at least just walk through the algorithm, and they might try to understand your thinking process, right? Um, but oh, cool, book buyer, yeah. Well, book buyers here, good. But yeah, if you're interested in like another vibe coder, Midnight Simon was in the chat, and I've been following him for a while, and he has some really cool streams and some cool people in his chat, and I enjoy his streams, so you might want to check him out too. But so yeah, the business stuff is cool. Yeah, for sure. So anyway, so here's my auth flow, right? So, and this is the way that this works. So when I come into Blue Cactus AI and I go to sign out, so this is the sign in page. And what it would look like is if I come to a different email and I go to continue with Google, it'll take me to this page to choose my account, right? And then I'll choose an account. I'm not going to do it right now, but I would choose an account. This is my Blue Cactus email. But I'm going to sign in. But here's the flow. So, okay, so here we go. So we pretty much call the Google endpoints. The Google returns, I think it's an access token and a refresh token to us. And bring in some user info. And I'm kind of talking through this at a super high level, but this is how we're handling multi-tenant, right? So allowing many different customers to be in our system and different organizations and separate that data. Excuse me. So then we have org handling, right? If the user has no membership, right, we go ahead and create an organization. So first we try to check, okay, does this user belong to an organization or not? Yeah, so Blue Cactus would actually be, so actually the end customer for now, that's going to be like a professional service. So my end customer might decide, hey, we want to set up coaching. And I wouldn't even, for now, I'm not even going to make them look at that workflow at all, right? I would go ahead and set up that workflow for them. And then I'd have some sort of dashboard where they could review the conversations with the driver. But yeah, I'm still thinking through that. They might log into the Blue Cactus AI dashboard. I might have like a component that you can embed. So like a Blue Cactus AI component that I can embed into that telematics video platform as a dashboard. So you can review some of the, and still thinking through how I'm going to do that. I'm also going to use like an MCP, right? So I'm going to have the telematics video business will have an MCP server, and Blue Cactus AI will have an MCP server. And I'm going to have both of those services communicating with each other. Yeah, that's also a way. And I'm kind of thinking through the end customer. Will they go into Blue Cactus AI or not? I'm not sure. Really, what's important for my customer is, I don't think they really care about the node graph and the workflow stuff, right? They just want to know that I close the loop on coaching and their drivers are getting coached, right? So some sort of view where they can see the history of those conversations with the driver so they can review them. And I'm also going to need, when I first launch this, which it's going to be launched this year, hopefully in the next few months here. Try to get it done as quick as I can. But the idea is to have some sort of review system and maybe some sort of evaluation, because we're going to need to kind of review these conversations, especially looking for hallucinations, right, that might happen. And yeah, exactly. So most of my customers do have a computer. I do have a phone app. But I might need to include that into the app. That's a good idea. But anyway, so just coming through the auth flow quickly. So pretty much when I do that Google OAuth, if there's not an organization, we set up the organization. And then if there's exactly one membership, we're using cookies. So for users that are in the web app, we use a cookie. For new users that want to join that organization, so the first user that creates the organization is the admin of the organization. And then any new user, say you just set up your organization and you want to invite new users to your organization, right? I can generate a join code, and then any new users that want to join the system can enter in this join code, right? And then those users will be able to have access to this organization. So then let's keep going through this here. So that's join codes. Then we have API keys. So we hash our API keys in Postgres. And then we also cache them in Redis. So then if anyone wants to access our services, they can use their API key in the header. And we'll check Redis. As all those requests come in, we can quickly check Redis. And yeah, so book buyer, that's a good question. I'm going to make a way for them to do serverless. So I don't know how technical you are, book buyer, but one thing I want to be able to do is have a node where they can have a sandbox where they can write code. So maybe one of these nodes, they have a third-party service that they need to hook into. And the idea is if they have a third-party service they need to hook into, they could write some methods, right? And I'll host that code for them. And so when the agent gets to that node, it could use that code, right, to help hook into any third-party service. And then fetch the data that they need. So if that's kind of what you mean, they'll be able to create serverless methods, right? Old okay, so okay, cool. So then let's come back here and let's keep walking through this flow. So that's how I handle API keys, and it's very easy to generate an API key. In settings, API keys, another test API key. So boom, I can create another test API key, and that's how easy it is to create an API key. So JWT versus session cookies, and this is really a fascinating part to me. Okay, so session cookie, the cookie lives in Redis, and this is how we handle so when a user's logged in, we're setting a cookie in the browser, and that's how we authenticate users in the web app, right? And then we have JWT, which is kind of interesting, but any downstream services, we actually will use JWT. So I'm actually want to understand this a little more. It's not critical for me to understand this, but I want to understand this. Help me understand kind of when we use that downstream JWT token. So we use the cookie to authenticate a request, but once it hits Cactus Auth Go, and Cactus Auth Go is communicating with other services, we're actually signing that with a JWT token. Is that right? Hey, that's okay, book buyer. That's okay, man. You already, it sounds like you like thinking through problems. So that's the most important part, is just having the curiosity, right? I should check here. I got to get my camera down here too. So I just wanted to explain this. Let's check my usage too. I've used a lot of usage, unfortunately. Okay, I think Opus 4.7 is like 50% off today, which is pretty cool. You know, so. Interesting. Hold on. So it calls a JWT, the client with a valid cookie. Okay. And then it returns a JWT. Interesting. Service org JWT response. So also book buyer, you know, I'm handling authentication on my own. But if you're you can use tools like Supabase, or there's another database called Convex. I know this guy I watch Midnight Simon, he's using Supabase, and so tools like this will help you with authentication. So if you have this is Supabase, and pretty much it's a database, but they also help you with authentication. And really, one of the most critical parts is making sure that you have your users' information secure, right? Especially any information that's related to authentication. And so, if you're new to vibe coding, you know, instead of trying to build authentication out yourself, you know, I would definitely suggest probably, some tool that can help you with authentication. And you can ask ChatGPT this, and it will help you understand that. Okay, so it's interesting. That doesn't need outbound. Enhance the. So I just want to understand. Yeah, so I just want to understand this a little bit more. So when the user first does Google OAuth, we do set a cookie in the browser, right? And then when that user makes a call from the front end to our back end, it includes that cookie. And then we're using a JWT to call our other backend services. Is that right? Or do we return the JWT to the client, and the client's actually attaching that short-lived JWT versus the cookie? I just want to understand this more. Can you hook your camera to the side of a monitor? Yeah, I need to look into that. I have like an Elgato camera right now, and I got to figure out how to hook it up properly. I also have like it's like a 4 monitor mount here, so I could maybe mount it on this pole that's in between the 4 monitors. But yeah, I need to fix that, because I've realized that everyone's just looking at the top of my head, right? Like, when I'm doing stuff, people are just staring at my top of my head here. Anyway, so okay, let's look at this here. Okay, so here's kind of this flow. At least you have nice hair, no shiny. Yeah, thankfully. Thank you. So let's see. Okay, so Cactus Auth Go. So this is my authentication service, and these are all the services right now. So actually, there's a better place to. Let's see. Okay, yeah, so I have Cactus Oasis Go, which is my liquid glass app. And I haven't even shown you that yet, but I could show you that. I also have a mobile app and also a desktop client called Cactus Oasis Go that has like that looks like this, and we're going to be hooking this up. It doesn't look good on a white background. I need to fix that, but let's see what it looks like. Okay, so this is kind of what it looks like. It's using glass morphism or liquid glass, and I can take a screenshot and then say, what do you see? And these are my 4 monitors here. What do you see in the top? And what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to have my agent system, and the agent system's good for sales and support reps, right? But you could use this, or a sales or support rep could be using this. A lot of different ways I could use this. One way is a sales or support rep could be taking screenshots and sending it back to the agent. Another way is like a remote, some sort of remote access. So say a customer is having a problem. We could make it easy for them to download this Liquid Glass tool. And then we could maybe like have our agent have remote access and take a screenshot of what they're looking at, right? And then it can take a screenshot of what that customer's looking at and then try to give them advice in real time, right? Yeah, for sure. For sure, but I know I'm kind of going crazy with the info here, but definitely thanks for joining the stream. So that's the idea with Liquid Glass. So let's come back. Let's see where. Let's go back to, okay, yeah, so these are all my services. I've got Cactus, Oasis Go, a Voice Edge High Noon, my workflows. This is maybe we're going to be working on today. Agent Validation Trail Judge. This is going to be my evaluation tool. I've got this OTEL. This is helping me keep track of the spans. This is going to make spans durable in Postgres. We're going to want to do that. That's an issue that I set up. This is a AWS Text Rack, so this is going to help us do RAG. Let's see. Then we've got different issues with Cactus Web. So doing parameter capture. We actually want to move this to a different repository. Stripe integration, token usage dashboard, integrate auth with the Liquid Glass app. So lots of different stuff we're working on, but let's come back to, let's make sure we're in the agents window. I know I'm bouncing around, guys, but actually before we move forward with the connector, I just want to keep walking through some of this authentication stuff. Anyone that's curious about authentication can take a look. So let's see. Okay, so we set the cookie on the browser, then the browser will call our backend with that cookie, right? We authenticate that cookie to make sure it's a valid cookie. And then we return a JWT, and the browser attaches that JWT as authorization bearer on every call. Okay, so where I get confused is, didn't we already set the cookie in the browser, but we're also setting the JWT? Explain that. Hey, everyone that's joining. I know we got some new people joining on YouTube. Guys, we're working on our agents business right now. We have a voice agent that handles calls, and we can set up a node graph. Here you can see the event timeline of that call and any stored transcript. Also, you can look at these spans, right? So we're using OTEL observability to help us understand where the bottleneck is on these agents. So the agents are making tool calls, they're doing RAG, they're going to be connecting to Gmail and Google Calendar. And so here's a agent workflow. So you can see that this is where we started at the node runtime, then it did some RAG, tool call, Then we did another RAG tool call for GPS tracker pricing. Then we transitioned this workflow from intro to callback offer. And so we have a tool that helps us make these transitions. So this is like call history. All of these calls are handled on AWS S3. We can load in the recording and play the recording. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Yeah, I don't think you can hear that. But we also have a recording of the call that you can download and listen to that call. And we have collected data. So here you can see we had requested a call back from sales rep next week on Tuesday at 3 p.m. Which is pretty damn cool. So here's our knowledge base where we can upload documents. We have our debug console and our settings. Right now, I'm just walking through our authentication flow. So we have Google OAuth now, and I can click into Google OAuth, and it's doing this Google OAuth authentication. And so what I'm doing right now is I'm just walking through my authentication flow to make sure I'm okay with it. We're using a combination of cookies and JWT tokens, and understanding when and why we're using each, when we're using Redis, what we're storing in Postgres versus what we're storing in Redis. Okay, so let's see here. Let's keep rolling through this. Okay, so let's see. So set once by OAuth callback. Okay. JavaScript cannot, only the browser attaches it automatically. Got it. So we do our Google OAuth. Then we set a cookie. Okay, stateless. Why not use the cookie everywhere? Cookies are pinned to a domain. Different host subdomain. The cookie may not be sent at all. Not that the bare header works anywhere. The cookie, every service would need to call back into or share Redis. The local signature check. Okay. So cookie is the badge for the lobby auth service. It kept behind the counter. She holds. Yes, both exist, but they're used for disjoint requests. Request to Cactus cookie. Okay, so when we make a request to Cactus auth go, it's sending the cookie. Request to everything else, JWT. Cookie not sent. Different origin. So it's assuming that... Okay, so right here, probably all of these... Interesting. No, so these services are going to be on AWS EKS. And I could expose them via ingress, but some of them will get called inside of the cluster and not from the front end. So are you saying that JWT is the right method for this and not cookie, if I'm understanding correctly? Okay, so let's see. Let's go drop off this wood, guys. So I do a little RuneScape, just chopping wood as I'm waiting for the agents to work here. Okay, nice. Now we're chopping again. Cool. Okay, so... Makes sense at the... Okay, cool. For an EKS style topology, JWT should use the right primitive. Got it. Okay. Browser mechanism. Got it. Internal service calling another internal service has nothing to do with cookies. Got it. So what's happening in my situation? Okay, so tell me which service is getting called from the front end and which services will be called inside of the cluster, if that makes sense. And thanks again, actually, anybody that has liked, subscribed, followed on both Twitch and YouTube. It means a lot. Let's go to lifetime. You know, we definitely, you know, the channel's growing organically. I like this trend line here. Really going to be excited when we get to 500 subscribers. Really just want to say thank you to anyone that has subscribed so far. It means a lot. And if you haven't already, please follow, like, and subscribe on YouTube and also Twitch. This channel is all about vibe coding. I do a lot of vibe coding live. I also do some videos on workflow. If I see new, any new agentic workflows that I adopt, I like to make a video on that. I like to do high-level commentary on AI interviews. If I see meaningful AI interviews that are worthy of some commentary, I like to do that. And then also we do this vibe coding live. Let's come back here. So let's look. So these are like our different services here. And so what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to understand, okay, which service is getting called from the front end, right? And which services call each other on the back end. So you have Cactus Web. So that's our front end service. And the front end service is going to use a cookie to call our back end, right? And here's our authentication service. So the front end makes a request to the authentication service to authenticate the driver. Or not the driver, to authenticate the user. Also issues JWTs to API clients. Yes. So not a user cookie / JWT. Let's look. Browser to front end BFF calls. Okay. Okay, like here's this one. So like here's a service, Voice Edge High Noon, that calls dialog graph runtime. And that's going to use a JWT because it's not coming from the web, right? It's a service calling another backend service. Flow end to end. Got it. Okay, cool. So, and that's okay. I mean, I understand this good enough. Need to call back into or share this into a domain. Oh, there's a cookie. Service clients. No cookie at all. The downstream services therefore only know about one thing. Okay. I think this is okay for now. Okay, now I want you to review the memory mechanism. How are we handling memory right now? And then we're going to go integrate the connector, guys. The connector to check out the availability. We're about to try that in a minute here. Recent events and writes afresh. Open was back to Redis. So we have durable memory and then a working memory. And these are triggered when the LLM calls save memory. And we have this save memory tool, right? So we have a fact, we have tags, and we have forget after, right? So the memory does evolve over time. How the model decides what to save. So the agent itself, or the real-time API, actually decides when to call the memory tool. Now, what we could do is in the future, right now, we're not pulling that context in, but if we identify, hey, this is the same user, or this is the same phone number that we're talking to, then we know, okay, this phone number is related to these extracted memories, and let's feed these into the context, if that makes sense. So I just want to understand this a little bit more. Okay, help me understand how this works. Then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say, okay, I want to integrate an OpenAI connector to Gmail Calendar into my agent. I want you to review my code and help me understand which services we're going to need to modify to do this. We're going to need a new tool or a new connector in the node graph where you can add it to a node to hook up your calendar availability. We already have Google OAuth set up, so we should have the token that we need to connect to the calendar. I want you to use get status and tell me what the status is of these repositories. So let's do this. Let's keep chopping. And guys, I know I did a lot of yapping. I just wanted to explain kind of what I'm working on. I had Midnight Simon in here, and so I wanted to kind of explain everything to him. But right now what we're doing is we're setting up the calendar availability connector, which should be fun here. So right now what I'm doing is I'm having it review my code. I'm going to tell it to go run git status on my different services. So I have a multi-repo setup. Right now I'm in the parent directory. I have submodules. And so right now I'm just having the agent review this. Or Opus 4.7's digging into this right now. Let's close this down here. Let's close all these. This is Option Command E. Okay, boom. Let's make this bigger here. Nice. Okay. So, let's see. So we got origin main. Main. Interesting. Okay, so let's see. I want to see. Let's just see. Did we commit these changes already? So it's ahead one commit from remote origin main. Okay, there we go. Committed locally, just not pushed. Okay, so usually I don't make this commit on I don't really want to push up this env example here. Hold on. What is in the env example? Show me the diff. Okay, to avoid conflicting, got it. Origins, okay. Okay, what are the other changes in that commit? Okay, we don't really need to push this to origin, right? There's no major changes here. Okay, can you restore that? Or I don't even want to commit that change. I just want a clean main right now. You can keep those changes. I just don't want it in the latest commit. Let's see if we can do this here. Okay, cool. Okay. So let's see. Okay, now tell me which services I'm going to need to modify for us to integrate this OpenAI connector. All right, let's see. This is the agent's window, right? I think it is. No, is this the agent's window? Let's see. No, let's go back to the cursor agents window. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Cool. We're back in the agents window. Nice. Okay, so let's see. Go. Okay, finish the flow. Endpoint. Handle save memory. Add new branch execute. And add a new branch execute to tool call. Today the switch handles save memory. Check calendar availability. And later create calendar availability. I'm gonna say, okay, I want you to go review the OpenAI Realtime API documents, documentation, and review how to integrate a connector. I'm not sure if it's going to be a tool call, a standard tool call where we handle this asynchronously in the background. Think about this. We may want to call, what's that service? Optional later. Yeah, okay. So let me just look at my services again. Where's my file editor? Terminal, changes, files. Okay. So I went crazy with my Western names here, but it gets a little annoying because the names aren't familiar to me. I know this is my authentication service. This is my node graph runtime. Let's see. Here's my voice service. I need to get some of these out of here too. Liquid glass. That's my backend for my liquid glass service. This is my hotel service that starts up the containers. But let's look. This is Engine Sagebush. This is what helps me with RAG here. This is business workflows. Let's just see. Very concisely tell me how this flow would work, adding in this connector, and which services we need to modify after you go review the latest documentation. There we go. It's calling the latest documentation here for Realtime API. Events for it. Just pass the user's Google OAuth access token. Got it. Search events, read event. If you want bookings, you still need either a custom MC or a classic function tool alongside it. Okay. User connects to the voice call. On session start, we're going to go fetch the Google access token. We wait. Okay. Real-time server imports tools. Caller asks, am I free? Their model emits. Okay. Then with the MCP, OpenAI already called Google for us. See calendar calls, what it means. If you add rights. Okay, to book the event. Okay, so for now, I'm really interested in, I just want to read the availability right now. I'm not concerned with booking the meeting. What I want to do now is I want the Realtime API agent to be able to fetch that availability and the agent to respond with that availability. And then we can use our save memory tool where at least the user can say, okay, I know what the availability is now. Now I want to book for this specific day or whatever that availability is. And then we're going to want to extract that as a memory. Eventually, we're going to call, do this asynchronously with the business workflow stagecoach service. But for now, I just want to at least fetch that availability. We don't need to worry about writing it to the calendar yet. Okay. Okay, so think through this again and tell me how we would do this. I want you to do this as simple as you can. I don't want this to be overly complex. Then I'm going to say, I want you to review the code again and think deeply through this and let me know how we will handle this. Also, we're going to need to add some sort of component or a way to add this as a tool to a node, right? Or how are we going to handle this inside of the node graph? Give me your thoughts. And then what I could actually do is I could probably open up the browser. And let's go to login. Let's just continue. Okay, so let's, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into the node graph and I'm gonna use this design mode. Oh shit, let's refresh. There's like an issue where the edges don't, we're gonna add that as an issue. What I could do actually is, use the GitHub MCP server to show me all of my issues in the Blue Cactus AI organization. All right, so let's keep working through here. So I'm going to say just going to kind of show it what the node graph looks like, at least. So we're gonna take this, boom, let's okay, review this. Okay, this is the node graph. Okay, then let's give another, let's open up, let's exit out of this, and then let's open up this, and then this is how we define tools on one of the nodes. Okay, we're having it think through this here. Guys, I'm going to be right back. I'm going to get a little quick refill on the coffee here. 1 second, I'll be right back. Hey everybody, I'm back. Let me go drop off these wood logs here. And then let's start reviewing the results from Opus 4.7. Okay, so let's see. So the built-in Google Calendar connector is functionally just another tool in the LLM's tool belt. Okay, the only difference is who executes it. Sure. So the node builder UI doesn't need a new concept at all. It's still just an entry in the add tool dropdown. Got it. Okay. Node builder UX, got it. Okay. Turns each node into a tool list. Everything else is unchanged. Okay. Where's that? It calls Cactus Auth Go. Okay, so once it sees this, Voice Edge sees Google Calendar marker, it calls Cactus Auth Go for a fresh Google Access token. I just want to keep Voice Edge as lightweight as I can. Okay, this is a good... I like the way you're thinking, but I want to keep this Voice Edge layer as lightweight as I can. Should we be calling the Cactus Auth service from here, or should we be calling it from another service? Okay. Call comes in, Trailboss, compiler. It calls using the same response. Receives tools. Okay. Good instinct. Gut should stay dumb. Yeah, so that voice service that's communicating with OpenAI real time, I don't want that to get bogged down waiting on like a request to get returned or something, right, from my authentication service. Still want to think through this a little bit more, but quickly 1 hour if I could. Yeah, there's never going to be a call that's like an hour long. Yeah, there should never be a call that's like an hour long. Okay, no, let's just... Then we're going to go into plan mode and start planning this out. Okay, so... Okay, got it. So let's go to Shift Tab. Let's go into plan mode. Okay, I want you to create a plan for this. At the top of the plan, what I want you to do is we're going to run git status in each service, make sure the working tree is clean, and then we're going to check out to a new branch from main with an appropriate name for these new changes, and then we'll make these changes on that new branch. Okay, so now we're creating a plan. I'm gonna check my calendar, make sure there's, let's see, Google Calendar. Okay. Okay, so I have no events on the calendar right now, which is good. Okay, let's run back here and start chopping these trees. And thanks, anyone that's here now. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in chat. You know, I'm a pretty open guy. I'm willing to really talk about anything, any AI news, any questions about this business or what I'm building. Also, if you haven't already, please follow, like, and subscribe. If you're interested, too, in, like, an AI community, you can join discord.bluecactus.ai. Just put that into your browser. It'll redirect you to the Discord link. If you want to just enter in the link on Discord, you'll have to put into your web browser discord.bluecactus.ai. It'll redirect you to the Discord, the official Discord join link. Then you can copy and paste that inside Discord directly. It should automatically open Discord for you. But if it doesn't, that's the way you can do it. Okay, it's asking me some questions. Whose calendar does the agent read for availability? So this is where we probably at some point we want this. We're going to do it per org, I think. At some point we're going to change this, but for right now, per org. So the way it's going to work is you're going to create an org, and then you're going to connect your email in the org settings, probably. What branch name do you want for this work? Google Calendar availability. I mean, this doesn't really matter. It's just a name. But, let's just do this. Google Calendar connector. Or, you know what? Let's just do this. Okay. Boom. All right. Plan still building. Okay, so let's see. Okay, let's see here. Services touch, Cactus Web, Cactus Off Go, Voice Edge High New. 4 submodules. Start editing. Okay. So what I'm doing here, guys, is before I make these changes, I'm checking out to a new branch, not my main branch. So my main branch always has a head or the latest commit. Every time you make changes, you kind of commit those changes. So my main branch or my master branch, I always keep that with changes that I know are working, right? So I've tested it kind of aggressively, and I always keep that branch with code that I know works. When I'm making new changes, I usually check out to a new branch. And Midnight Simon, this guy Midnight Simon has a great workflow for this, and I'm going to be building a new workflow for this. But I check out to a new branch, and then and we probably could set up an issue for this. But anyways, I check out to a new branch and I make those changes in that branch. Then I push it up to GitHub on that new branch, and then we create a pull request. And when that pull request happens, that's when I have these code review tools. I have a Codex code review tool, and also a Cursor BugBot code review tool that I use. So that's what we're doing here. When you read this, this is what we're going to do with checking out to the new branch. Stashed or left alone. They should not be pulled into the feature branch. Got it. Okay. So migration or Google Calendars. Got it. So it's going to create a new table. It's going to store the refresh token. Restore admin only, check permissions, builds a Google OAuth URL. This is separate from the login OAuth flow. Okay. New handler package. Got it. Calendar access token. Or refresh token exchanges. Okay. Okay, then we're going to add this new tool. Okay, then we're going to make some changes to our voice edge. So like 4 different services getting changed here, right? We've got our authentication service. I'm just going to say... Runtime Trail Boss. let's see. This is a plan right now. Sometimes I like to go into Codex and have it review this plan, to be honest. Let me see. What is the exact present working directory of this plan? What I might do is have Codex actually do a little small review here. So I'm gonna copy this. This is the Codex desktop client. Can you review this plan and give me your thoughts? Let's see what Codex has to say about this plan. I want you to review the Realtime API OpenAI documentation, and then review the plan and make certain that this approach will work. And give me your thoughts. I want to keep this as simple as we can. It's important that the voice layer stays very lightweight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have Codex kind of review that plan, and then I'm going to feed that back into Opus and ask it, hey, I had another agent review the plan. Just want you to give me your thoughts on this. Hey, Austin, thanks for joining the Discord. Okay, here's Codex calling all these documents. I have noticed that the tools, they're really getting better at running kind of many different actions in parallel, right? So spinning up all of these action items, so all of these OpenAI API documentation fetch, spun those all up kind of asynchronously in parallel. And definitely you can feel the agent kind of getting more and more doing better, longer running reasoning and longer running agentic reasoning. Interesting. So Codex is still running here. And let's go back cursor here. Let's see. Okay. Let's keep reading through the plan. Okay, read only. Export search events, read event. Bookings captured via existing save memory tool for later stage code processing. So what's cool is when they do, so we don't want to interrupt the voice agent. The voice agent, you don't want to make some call to try to write something to the Google Calendar and have the voice agent kind of waiting there, waiting for some response to come back, right? So all of that happens like asynchronously in the background. So we have a service that once we do return the calendar availability and the customer says, hey, I'm available at this day, then we send it to our backend service that can run that asynchronously in the background. So the voice agent never has any interruption in service or never pauses, right? So let's see. Okay. Store refresh token. Okay, so trail boss. Payload. Honestly, this little visualization here is a little like, where is this going? Cactus Web. The read only. Okay, that's to Google consent to OpenAI Realtime API. Trail boss, when we save the node graph, it puts this, stores a refresh token. Trail boss, voice edge. Okay, voice edge calls trail boss. MCP payload, it also calls trail boss. Instructions, tools, MC. So trail boss calls voice edge with instructions, tools, and the MCP connector. Okay, so let's okay, cool. So this looks good. Then Cactus Auth Go, we're gonna create a new table here. Let's see. Sign state. Okay. With that prompt consent, read only includes a signed state, org ID, return to this separate. Okay. Here's code. Redirects back to Cactus Web. Got it. So this is all just to set up Google Calendar authentication. Then here's a this is to fetch. This is to loads refresh token, exchanges for access token, and returns the access token. And then here's where we get some calendar status. It's some GET request where we just check, okay, is the calendar connected or not, right? Then here's the dialog graph runtime. This is where we're going to add a new tool into our node graph, right? So we've got our node graph here. And when I open one of these tools in the node graph, it's going to be a tool selection here where we can add the calendar availability tool, right? So let's come back here. And takes org ID. Okay. Extend build-in with a new builder. Okay, it's fetching the Google Access token. Then here's a new module. Okay. Explain why this is async. I kind of understand why, but I'm just want to confirm. Here's the policy instructions for this tool. Voice Edge High Noon. Now, what's I gonna do? Add a branch. Post the item to a new trail boss endpoint. Okay. Do for outbound direction. For the inbound side, okay, so in the OpenAI WebSocket message handler, just add a branch. Okay, on response output item done with item type MCP call. So it's just some status types that are coming from OpenAI Realtime API. So let's see. This looks good. Cactus Web. Okay. Posture check. And a little hydration check here. So let's see. When a node has show a small connection status chip under the tool chip. Okay. Redirects, got it. Okay. Let's do. Got it. Okay, looks plan's looking pretty good. Let's let Codex keep working here. So Codex, I went and had it fetch all of the and you know, one interesting thing to think about is Codex might be better at kind of reviewing some of that real-time API documentation. So Codex is still running. Let's keep thinking through this. Or what I'm going to do too is I'm going to say, or let's see, did we? I want you to use the GitHub MCP server to look at all the issues in the Blue Cactus AI organization. Okay, let's come back to Codex here. I mean, Opus 4.7, it takes me some time to kind of get into the flow and really give my thoughts on it, but it's feeling pretty good so far. What I need to do is set up some more workflow stuff. I'm working on a tool where I'm going to have an agent that's going to be polling for any open issues on GitHub. And when those issues are open, we're going to fetch them down, spin up a new work tree, make those changes, and then go ahead and push them. And then if there's any build fails, then we can, then it would kind of correct those build fails to try to close the loop on some of that. For me, when the issues get very, very complex, or like to me, this is like a kind of a complex thing that I'm integrating here. You know, I like to kind of be reading through and following along and steering the agent as I go. But for some more simple features, as the model gets more and more intelligent, you know, we're going to want to kind of have some agent that's always on, always polling GitHub, looking for new issues. And if it identifies some new issues, hey, Vibe Code Diary, how are you? Hey, Mar, are you guys still in here? If you guys are still in here, I'll kind of show you what I'm building. Okay, hey, Mar. Yeah, so what I'm doing right now is I have a voice agent. So this is my voice agent's business. And right now what we're doing is we're trying to integrate a connector from OpenAI. So I'm using the OpenAI Realtime API for voice agent, right? And what we're doing right now is we're integrating Google Calendar connector into the voice agent. right? So at the beginning of the stream, I did some kind of demoed that voice agent. But if I come back, let's see. So come back to this node graph. We're going to be adding a tool called a tool for Google Calendar, and a way for us to connect our Google Calendar to our agent. And so here's like a node workflow graph, which says, okay, this is the intro node. Then you have the callback offer, demo booking, closeout, right? And so we're adding a tool called Google Calendar tool right now. And so I'm having Cursor kind of build Opus 4.7, helping me build that plan. And then after I built the plan, I actually went into Codex GPT 5.4 extra high, and I'm having Codex review that plan. So like right now, I'm going to say, I want you to give me a prompt, a handoff prompt that I can pass to another agent with any items that we think might be concerning. And I had it review that plan. Now I also have a, so this is the agent's business, pretty much. You have, here's agents. You can create an agent. You can click edit to see what that node graph looks like. You can add new nodes to the graph. We have a call history. So if I want to look at an existing call, we can see a call transcript. We can see the event timeline. So this is where it tells us all the turns that were completed, any tool calls that were completed. Also down here, we have observability, right? So we can see the entire agent workflow. So when did it transition from one node to the next node? And then we have observability, trying to help us understand as this flow moves across all of our different microservices, how long does it take? So we're kind of tracing the flow. And I'm not sure how technical you are, but kind of tracing that flow using a protocol called OTel observability and a tool called Jaeger that was built by Uber for handling observability across many different microservices. And then we have a knowledge base where you can upload PDFs, and we have a tool call for RAG to pull in fetch that data for us. Then we also have a debug console, and this is where we can debug live calls, API keys, and stuff like that. Now, I also have a telematics video tool, right? So this is, I have telematics video cameras in the vehicle. Those cameras detect events. So it's like driver state monitoring events. We do AI stuff at the edge. And also we're doing some AI stuff in the background. So anytime there's an event, we start reviewing that event. And then we use open source models to do object detection and depth estimation, looking for relevant objects. So we have cameras in the vehicle. Those cameras have events at the edge. When we get those events at our system, we run it through our AI analysis, doing object detection and depth estimation. And after we do that, we build a reconstruction. So we build a reconstruction of the event. And then also building these reports, these coaching reports, right? Trying to identify or do a risk score on these events. So normalizing different signals and trying to do a risk score. And then we also have driver ID. But what we're doing is we're building an agent's business, trying to build an agent and build kind of a workflow for agents. And then we're going to deploy those agents into the telematics video vertical, right? So I'm going to use agents to help me with camera health stuff. So if a camera's not healthy, I'm going to use agents to reach out to the end customer and let them know that the camera's not healthy. And then also for some of this driver coaching, right? So events will happen, drivers need to be coached, and I'm going to use agents to help do some of that coaching. So anyways, that's kind of what I'm working on at a high level. And let's come back to Codex here. Let's see what the call save memory. It's confirmed, booked, or added. Say the request is always captured to follow up. Yeah, I'm not too concerned about that. OpenAI's cool, Mar. And hey, happy to have you here on the stream. Please make sure to subscribe and follow or like. It really helps out. It helps push the content out to more people. I also have a Discord. If you're interested in like an AI community, you can join discord.bluecactus.ai. If you put that into your browser, it'll redirect you to the Discord link, and then you can copy that Discord link and put it in a Discord. If you're interested in like joining an AI community is really small right now, but you know, gonna keep pushing and want to continue building that community. Let's see. OpenAI's real-time MCP flow, multiple events. Okay. Sponsor. To trails not saved. Agent trace or starts input. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to Cursor. I'm going to ask Cursor to review these two items. Or I'm going to ask Opus 4.7 is helping me build this plan. Truly need separate routes. Okay, I want you to review these items and give me your thoughts. I kind of like the idea of having a new component on the front end in the organization or the admin section where you can connect your calendar. So give me your thoughts on this calendar item. You know, I don't want to create too many new endpoints or too many new paths in the authentication service if we don't have to. And then I'm going to say, explain some of these async builders that we're adding to the node graph, and do we really need them to pull in these tools to the voice agent? And then, let's see. And then what are your thoughts on the observability trace? Remember, we want to keep the voice edge high noon as lightweight as we can, but we need to track this observability for the tool call if we can. We probably can't actually track the tool call since it's a connector that's tied directly into the voice agent and it runs on the OpenAI server. But give me your thoughts on this. Okay, so let's let Opus 4.7 do its thing here. Okay, let's go drop off this wood while we wait for this. Let's see what Opus 4.7 has to say about this. And one day I'm gonna do like a gaming stream probably or something, or we're gonna build a plugin for RuneScape, but it's always a little choppy. I don't know if it's because I have 4 monitors open right now. And I'm not streaming 4 monitors, but I guess my computer's still pushing 4 displays. I don't know if that's causing any problems. It just kind of, RuneScape is a pretty lightweight game. It's old school RuneScape, and it gets a little choppy still. But let's see. So I was over-engineering it. The cleaner approach is don't add built-in tool builders, which is a map of pure sync. Mixing an async one in breaks the contract. build runtime async at the bottom before returning. No change to the cache format. The reason still must be async isn't because we changed a builder, it's because the field is at live access that can only be fetched at session start, not cached. Gotcha. It's unavoidable regardless of how we structure the code. So the minimum change is itself awaits a single helper. Everything upstream stays synchronous. Okay. So we don't have the deep. What did we do? One drop the endpoint in the corresponding voice edge. Replace both with MCP call final event arrives. Okay. 0 dB. So it looked like Opus 4.7 did kind of build some extra asynchronous endpoint that I didn't really need just to save this Google Calendar connector. The reason why I made it async is because when you save Google Calendar as a tool, it has to go fetch yeah, but when does it go fetch this this access token, or when does it go fetch the token? It doesn't fetch the token when we save the node graph, right? Okay, cool. So what's async again? Okay, that's build runtime payload. Got it. Okay. Existing handler. Keep it simple. Agreed. This belongs in an admin rather than a one per node ship. Okay, what'd I change? Trail boss post. Add only an OTel span one MCP. Okay. Before I finalize, briefly read existing into existing org endpoint. If one existing to save a route, still 2 new auth routes. Okay, web, new integrations page and settings. I'm gonna say yes, go ahead and update the plan. Hey, Mar. Yeah, so what I do is, I'm constantly kind of following the big AI labs. So always kind of trying to understand which direction these guys are moving in. So I don't get steamrolled by them. Like one of the things they're building is like agent builders, right? So they have agent builders, but those agent builders are really like, they're building it in a horizontal way where any vertical can integrate a workflow. But they're not kind of focusing on any specific niche. So, a lot of my ideas, to be honest, come from, I built a business, did a lot of sales, kind of understanding the market. And then when I understand the market, I understand like how intelligence plugs in to my different domains, right? So like, for the telematics video business, understanding that, hey, where do I need to use intelligence? Where does it make sense to use intelligence? And for me, it makes sense to use the intelligence for like driver coaching, right? So, we get these events, we have these events on the camera, and then now I know, okay, now with AI, I can plug in this intelligence, review this event, and then try to use this generative intelligence to help coach a driver. Or with agents right now, what I know is that every small and medium-sized business is going to have some sort of agent, right? Some sort of miniature employee. And there's a big opportunity with selling agents and professional services to small and medium-sized businesses. And there's tons of SMB businesses, right? And so I know that that's an opportunity, and that's where I started heading down the agents business. But really what I would do is try to understand the market. You can use ChatGPT deep research to try to understand the market, understand the different players, try to follow the the AI labs, because when they're releasing products, they're kind of setting the direction right now of where things are headed. And then try to see what products they're rolling out, because they're rolling out tools for you to build on top of, right? Developer tools for you to use and build products for the application layer for the end customer. So trying to understand, okay, what are the developer tools that they have, and how are they wanting us to build on top of these tools? And then think about what domain you're in, what vertical, what the industry is. And you can use ChatGPT Deep Research to try to understand, hey, where's the gap? Where are the opportunities? And that's kind of how I think of it. I don't know, that wasn't a great answer, but that's kind of how I would start thinking about it. Now I'm going to say, okay, I made updates to that plan. Can you review the plan again and give me your thoughts? I want to make sure this will work and not introduce any breaking changes. Because I'm going to switch it up, put on a little house music here. Let's see. Let's get that soft house going. There we go. I'm going to use the restroom, guys. I'll be right back here. Okay, guys, I'm back. Codex pointed out another problem here, or not a problem, but I am concerned about making this method async, and so we're gonna see what it says about making this method without updating its caller. So honestly, Opus 4.7, to be honest, has already made a couple kind of couple overly verbose, and then some extra code that we didn't really need. Now making some method asynchronous that has some sort of side effects. So still testing it here. Let's see. Posture check. Set up an option. Don't touch. Comes a promise. Spreading a promise with empty object. Huh. Making bill with async requires a surgical async await. Got it. Yeah, we need. So it didn't do async, right? And this is what I'm always concerned about too. Is one of my services has I have a lot of real-time data, and I'm using Node, and we keep the event loop open by doing a lot of stuff asynchronously. And it looks like it didn't use an await. An await when it called this method here. It's interesting. Yeah, go ahead and update the plan now. So it just made a mistake with asynchronous code, which is interesting. It's updating the plan again. Then we're going to ask Codex. And this is where I really do think Codex is more thorough right now, more intelligent, more thorough. You know, Opus is fast and it's precise, especially when you know what you need to do. But still, it's a little bit kind of driving outside the curbs a little bit here. Let's see what our usage is at, guys. Let's go to settings. We're at 89%. Wow, they are giving some normally if I was using Opus, I'd be using up my usage way faster here. Okay, so now I'm going to tell Codex to review the plan again. Okay, I want you to review that plan again. And after we're getting close, guys. Once we add this connector, we'll do a demo call here, which should be fun. It's doing a compaction right now. I guess the context got a little big here. Okay, it looks like we resolved this async issue. So Codex did call out something. Opus made a mistake with how to handle an asynchronous method, right? So it needed an await. It was calling another method inside of the async method, and it needed an await there. Explain why we needed to use an await. Interesting. So it returns a promise. When it's an asynchronous method, any method called inside of that async method, I guess, returns a promise. If you don't use await, it doesn't unwrap that promise. Which is interesting. So Opus 4.7 had a little bit of issue with async stuff. Which even for me, when I first built out the telematics video platform, we have a ton of real-time data. And that, before AI, understanding how to keep that event loop, took a pretty smart developer, a guy that was really good at JavaScript, to understand kind of how to keep my service lightweight and available when I have tons of real-time data coming in, keeping that event loop healthy, and all requests using async promise to make sure that we don't block the event loop, but we still do things sequentially, if that makes sense. So let's see. Codex is still working here. So the OAuth flow may succeed while the real-time... OpenAI's connector doc list. So interesting. That's okay. Give me your thoughts on this item. Do we need to make any modifications to our plan? I want you to explain this item to me. Everyone, please follow, like, and subscribe if you haven't already. It helps push this content out to more people. Let's see. Yeah, I don't care about this right now. That's okay. It's just like I have some code that checks my environment file, and there's no like panic or error handling if that environment variable is not available. But it's always going to be available, at least for now. It's enforce read only and allow them to see instructions. Okay, go ahead and make these modifications to the plan. So pretty impressive. You know, like one thing I'd suggest for sure is if you're using OpenAI APIs, you know, you might want a Codex. might have a little more familiarity with some of these documentation, right? Or at least seems like it's a little better at fetching that documentation and reading through that documentation. At least that's my experience right now with Opus 4.7. Yeah, I think I'm satisfied now with the plan. I mean, we could ask one last time. Can you review the plan and give me your thoughts? We made more changes to the plan. Okay. Okay, let's ask Codex one last time here what its thoughts of the plan are. Let's go drop off this wood here. And guys, if you're not familiar with the stream, I do a little old school RuneScape chopping down some wood here while I'm coding, just collecting wood. Not sure what I'm just gonna sell the wood probably for money. Just chopping trees. It's just like an AFK thing you can do in this game. Not a super hardcore gamer, but definitely played some old school RuneScape when I was a young kid. And I had an old friend get me back into it. Let's see. But mostly vibe coding. But we may do some like gaming at some point. Or maybe create a plugin for old school RuneScape, vibe code it would be really cool. Okay. Let's see. It's still working through this plan here. Okay, let's see. The author of contract says returns. Huh. Listening only for complete is not enough to verify the connector is usable. The plan explicitly depends on avoiding silent zero tool imports. You know, I'm not as worried about that. I'm kind of concerned about this though. Explain this item to me. Do we need to be concerned about this? Okay. Huh. Okay. There you go. Another mistake that Codex was able to call out on Opus 4.7. Okay, go ahead and make this modification to the plan. Then we're gonna go ahead and build it, and then then we'll test it. So it had some, you know, that had some JSON parameter that had an incorrect name and was going to get returned as undefined. It had it was using some parameter name in the Realtime OpenAI API that OpenAI Realtime API was not going to understand, something like that. But definitely some critical issues. I could have just tested, ran into the bugs, and then fed it back into Opus 4.7 and let Opus 4.7 make those fixes. But for now, I went and used Codex to help me review that plan, and now we're going to go implement it here. Okay, so let's go ahead and build this plan. All right, let's build it. So now I'm actually building the plan that we just created. It's running get status. Okay, we're going to stash some changes right now that we don't really need that are inside. So this repository was not a clean. It had some uncommitted edits. And when we were checking out to a new branch, we couldn't check out to a new branch, so we just did what we call stash those changes. We can pop them back in when we open up the new branch, but for now we're just going to stash them because they're not really relevant. Okay. Wait, did it check out to the new branch? Oh yeah, it did. Okay, so it checked out to the new branch for each service, and now it's making the changes. Kind of take a peek at some of these. Let's get the file editor. I don't want to see. How can I browse the files? Okay, cool. Here we go. Normally, if I didn't have the LLM, I probably would have never wrote this in Go, just because I'm not familiar with Go. Just kind of taking a peek at some of these changes. Here's the query. So this is the tool that kind of communicates with Postgres. What's interesting here is it says plus 11 minus 1, but I don't see. Where are the 11 lines that it added? I don't see it. I guess it's just, oh, it's that. Interesting. So right here, what's interesting is you see I can see this green diff here. When I open up the file editor, I can't see that green diff for some reason. Once this is done, we'll test with the voice agent call. Oh, I see now. There's like a green line here that shows you what was added. Interesting. Okay. Okay, now we see Google Calendar availability here. It's got a hot reload here, so it's reloading. And then we can go to, or let's just, we can come here. Let's go back into our node. I gotta figure out why the edges don't load there. But now I can select a node, and we can add this Google Calendar availability tool. And now we have Here's the integrations tab to the settings page. It's about to add that. Integrations, boom. Okay, so it added the tab. It's still working on the page. Now the integrations tab content itself. What page was this? Oh. There we go. Here we go. Look at that. Man, this is cool. Okay, so let's see. Let's let Opus 4.7 keep rolling here. Make sure we keep chopping. It's adding some warning that the calendar's not connected yet in the node graph. Let me see. Google Calendar is not connected for this org. The tool will be unavailable on calls until an admin connects it in settings. Nice. Guys, I'm not monitoring the X chat. Let me actually check my phone real quick to see if anyone chatted on the X live stream. I need to like hook into that API or something. Yeah, no chats yet. And X. Okay, it's doing some lint checks. And then we'll do a test call, guys, which will be cool. We'll see if we can get can get the Google Calendar availability. That'll be pretty sweet. Okay, did it finish? Nice. Okay, cool. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to say, I want you to kill the front end and back end services and restart them. And then we're about to test this connector to our Gmail. So let's see. Okay, I want you to kill the front end and the back end services and restart them, and then open and follow the logs, and then I'm going to make a test call. Well, first I'm going to connect my Gmail, and then I'm going to make a test call. Sorry, I meant connect my Google Calendar. See if Opus can do this. front end's still up. Now it's down. So it's about to reboot it. Okay. Nice. Okay. So now what we're gonna do. Okay. Nice. Okay, here's the log. Let's see if we can open that log in a terminal. Okay, here we go. So check this out. So here we go. Let's go to the debug console. I'm just gonna move this for 2 seconds over here. And then we're gonna add in the phone number. We're gonna make the call. Wait, no, first I need to, first let me go to settings, integrations, connect Google Calendar. Nice. So now let me go back to agents, edit, and in the intro, and in the callback offer or demo booking, I'm going to add that tool in both. Okay, hold on. Okay, I just tried to connect the calendar, but it doesn't look like it's connected. I'm still getting some error. Did you create the new table in Postgres yet? Or review the logs? What happened? I don't think we created that new table. I don't know if it ran those migrations. Let's try and do it again. Yeah, look, the table doesn't exist. Okay. Okay, I don't want to show this. It always has trouble finding Postgres in this in my homebrew installation path. There it goes. It's just a local database. I'm not that worried about it. Okay, now we're gonna try. Back here. Integrations. Connect. Boom. Connected. Badass, man. Okay. So now I'm gonna go back to the agents, edit. I gotta figure out why those edges don't show up here. I'm gonna go to callback offer, add tool, Google Calendar availability, badass. Publish, boom. Google Calendar availability, publish, okay. Now I'm gonna say, okay, I just added the Google Calendar availability tool. I want you to check Redis and check Postgres and make sure that we're ready for the test call. Okay. Okay. Okay, it's just running some selects. Nice, I see the tool in Postgres. Badass. Now we're gonna check Redis to see what's cached in Redis. Oh shit. Let's Google Calendar, I see it. Okay. Tested some endpoint. We're getting close to making the test call. Anyone that's still here, thanks for being here. Let me just make sure this doesn't. Call internal token endpoint with a JWT token. Nice. It just confirmed that endpoint's working. I think we're almost ready, guys. Guys and gals, if there's, I don't know if there's any girls watching. Okay. All right, so let's test this, man. This is pretty cool. Go ahead and make the call. Okay, so let's go back here. Let's go to the debug console. Let's just bring it. I just got to type in a phone number here, so I don't want to pull it up yet. Let's see.
Hello, I'm Bella from Blue Cactus AI. How can I assist you today?
Hey, Bella, are you a human?
I'm actually an AI assistant, here to help you with Blue Cactus AI related questions. What can I help you with today?
Yeah, I spoke with one of your sales reps earlier, and I just want to book a demo.
Great to hear you're interested in a demo. Could you please let me know the best time for you, or provide your contact information for follow-up?
Yeah, I guess what's your availability? Can you tell me your Google Calendar availability?
I can't directly access my calendar right now, but I can certainly take your preferred times and arrange a follow-up. When are you available for the demo?
so you can't check your Google Calendar.
I'm sorry for the inconvenience. Let's find a time that works for you.
Review the logs. I can't, it's not checking the calendar availability right now. I am on the demo booking node. Yeah, what's your availability?
Correctly right now. But I can gather your preferred times and arrange for someone to confirm the booking with you. Could you let me know what times work best for you?
One second, guys. We're staying on the call right now. What you working on? Hey, Matt Dev, I'm working on a voice agent right now. I just set up the Realtime API Google connector and just trying to get that, check the availability from Google Calendar with a voice agent right now. And I'm using Opus 4.7 is checking the logs. So like kind of doing a real-time call right now. And this is the node graph. So I'm on a node right now, demo booking, and it has a Google Calendar tool. And there was an error. Oh, here's the error. And I should probably just hang up the call. It's good enough for now. Yes, Matt. I like Golang a lot. Yeah, so I'm using Go for any hot path stuff, Matt. And I really have two different businesses. I have a telematics video, and you know, I went through this a lot today, so I probably won't go into it too deep. But let me see. I have you know, I have two different businesses really. So I have a telematics video business where I have cameras in the vehicle. We're doing object detection and depth estimation stuff, reviewing. I have dash cameras and vehicles in the field. So I have this service where we're doing safety stuff, right? Reviewing safety events, trying to do a risk score and make a determination and do an event reconstruction. And then we also have like a report here where we score the event and build a driver coaching worksheet. And then I also have, you know, this business here, which is the agent's business. So, you know, right now, just trying to connect this voice agent to my Google Calendar. And I know that's kind of at a super high level here. Here's the final state. Now let's go back. Huh. Trail boss needed to get restarted. Let's see. Oh shit. You know what, guys? Hold on. Hold on, guys, 1 second. Sweet. I know, Matt. I'm rotating them right now. So unfortunately, guys, I'm gonna have to stop the stream. Thankfully, all the keys I don't have auto renew on, right? So even if somebody tried to use that, they wouldn't be able to. But dude, that sucks, man. Right when I'm about to do some pretty cool testing here for you guys, man, we expose some keys. So that sucks. I'm gonna have to go ahead and rotate all these. Shit, man, that sucks. See you around, but it's annoying to do. You'll be fine. Just rotate them. I know. Well, hey Matt, thanks for being here, man. That wasn't all your yeah, shit, man. It's okay. I mean, like I said, I only have you could burn. I like put $20 at a time into those accounts, so you could burn through $20 right now if you wanted to. But I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream, guys. Or we might do one final. Fuck it. We're just gonna end the stream, guys. I'll see you guys around on the next one. Bye, guys. Not sure if anyone's lurking around here, but thanks for joining. I'll see you around.